Hello everybody and welcome to another amazing video of DIY investing. For today's video, I'm going to be breaking down a crypto that I believe has real 100x potential given a full bull run. And then we're also going to be talking about some of the top cryptos built inside of this ecosystem that I think have the same potential as well. This is the point of the cycle where we're all very early, the new bull run just started, and by taking smart investments timed right now at the earliest point of the cycle, we have the highest potential of making that 100x type of investment when the whole bull run takes shape. Today I'm going to be breaking down why I believe this ecosystem and this crypto can see 100x from here and how we can all go about profiting off of it given the full bull run. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and with that being said, let's jump right into this amazing video today. Alrighty guys, now here we are to start off today's video, and I want to talk to you guys about a new ecosystem. It's not necessarily new, but it's one that I've been investing in since late last year, and this is one that I think is going to be taking off in a huge way. Now guys, when we talk about the potential of 100x, it's important to understand where exactly we would be inside of the market cap, where we would be inside of the total, valuation of crypto as a whole, because that's the only way that we're going to be able to have a realistic chance of understanding if it's even factual or possible. And so we're going to be looking at this today from a couple different perspectives. And perspective number one being, ultimately what is this crypto? Well, the crypto that we're going to be talking about today is Midas. Midas Andromeda is the network, and it's a layer 2 built on top of Ethereum. And so what we're going to be talking about with this layer 2 is really some of the ecosystem tokens as well, cryptos that I think that are built inside of it that are going to be playing out in a big way when this thing takes off, and really comparing this cycle with you guys to some other cryptos that have taken off, because this cycle right now as it stands really looks like it's about to blow up. And so I wanted to make sure that everybody had the opportunity of being able to do your own research, look into this a little bit. I've been buying it for the last few months, and I think that this one's going to be playing out, so I wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update as to why. Now when we're talking about this, we're not going to start off by talking about the price yet. We're going to be talking about what valuation it needs to be at to even understand if it's realistic. There's no point talking about details if I can't prove to you guys that it's an actual possibility that this thing provides 100x. Now, the current market cap is 116 million and the fully diluted valuation is 144 million. So most of the unlocks have already happened inside of the last bull cycle in the bear market, so we don't have to worry about that as much. And the market cap's only $116 million. So when it comes time to talk about 100x, we would have to have a total market cap of about 11.5, 10.5, 12, somewhere right around there, about $1 billion. So we would need that amount of money inside of the market, the total market cap, I should say, in order for us to actually see 100x from the price that we're at today. So, 10 to $12 billion in total market cap, that's quite a bit of money. And that's something that I think that you're only going to be able to conceptualize if we come over and actually look at the entire history of data that we have talking about market cap. And so we're going to go over and talk about the very top of our last bull run, because this was the most market cap that we ever had at a given time. Now we can see here that if we come down to basically the top 10 to $12 billion in total market cap, we get from 23 over here to about 18. So we get about this gap right here, and that's the valuation that we would have to hit. So if we're talking in terms of what that was at rank in the last cycle, that was only 18 to 23. So top 20 approximately, just to keep it easy. Top 20 in total market cap would give us that valuation. Now guys, if we're talking in terms of where the heck we could actually hit in this cycle, if we're given a full bull run, we're giving, no crazy catalysts that are negative, so to speak, like a black swan event like COVID was. We only have like how our normal bull runs, I guess, were. Then at that point, I think that we could have the very real potential of us hitting $10 trillion in total market cap. So from the very all-time high of our last cycle, sitting at about $3 trillion in total market cap, to 10, that would be about a 2.5x from the all-time high. So if we're looking at this and, 10 to $12 billion in total market cap was sitting at around 20 in market cap in the rank, then at that point, let's imagine 2.5 times more market cap. That would be putting this around, maybe top 50 or 60. in total market cap, and that's all that we would have to be in order for that to actually hit that 100x. So when we're talking about this, there's going to be a lot of new cryptos that come on the scene. I think that layer 2s are going to be one of those narratives, and so it's important to understand what narratives potentially could take shape and which cryptos are building on top of those narratives so that we can be early. That's the only way to truly have those big winners inside of the market, is you have to plan ahead for early trends. That's the only way. It's you can get lucky if you're just buying random stuff. I know that I did it in the last cycle, but for this cycle I've been much more prepared and actually trying to prepare with planning which cryptos are going to have those big narratives that take place, which narratives are going to take place, and all of that stuff. And layer 2s are one that I definitely see. That's why I've been so big on Arbitrum, talking about it with you guys. But now with Midas, this is another one of those networks, and it's pretty undervalued. And I do think that this one has that 100x potential, because when we're talking about what it has to hit in market cap and what we saw in the last cycle in the total all-time highs, I don't think it's that far off, especially if we get another brand new bull run. Now, when we're looking at Midas, one of the things that I like to look at when we're looking at this chart is just how similar it actually looks to one of the altcoins that I was following that just recently started performing good on Arbitrum, and that was Magic. We can see that this bottom formation looks almost identical to the same cycle that Magic just ran, and Magic just went through a breakout, and it's actually going even higher today. So if we're looking at this, we pretty much went through the same turn of events, where we make the cycle low, rally up, go through this final capitulation, and then that's where we make our first leg up, correct back down to the mid-range point of the consolidation, and then we make our next leg up. And that's kind of where I think that we're at today when we're looking at Midas. Now, I think that we're going to be having that next leg up, and that next leg up could easily take us all the way up here to about $175, which would be the top of this B wave, because this is an A, B, and C, right? So the top of this B wave at $175 could be a target that we could see. I would also say that the low end of this consolidation at about $100 as well, just in case we don't quite get that extension. But a lot of that is going to be dictated around Bitcoin. If Bitcoin ends up making a massive leg out of this consolidation that we've been in, and we go all the way up to the 618, which, if you guys remember what we've been talking about, the 618 is going to be $48,500 per Bitcoin, and that's going to be all the way up here at a little over $2 trillion in total market cap. So if we were to make an entire upswing and go all the way up here to that 618 in this first leg up, like what we saw over here in 2019, then at that point we easily could be looking at $170 Midas. Because here's the thing, this consolidation was taking place in March, February, and April. If we look at where this consolidation was over here when Bitcoin was at $48,000, it was the same time, February, March, and April. So if the prices are going to go back and revert to those prior highs, being Bitcoin, oftentimes altcoins do the exact same things. And that's why I say that if Bitcoin goes to the 618, chances are Midas is either going to be at the 618 or at the 382, just slightly below and slightly underperforming what Bitcoin does, because that's what altcoins typically do. And so that's what I'm watching for in the short term with Midas. Given a full bull run, I think that 10 to $12 billion in total market cap is more than doable. I think that this can actually surpass that as well. So I think that this is one you guys should watch out for. Tons of money to be made. This bottom formation looks really bullish. Now guys, let's take an opportunity to talk about some of the altcoins being built inside of this ecosystem that I think are going to be having some of the bigger returns given a full bull run. These are 4 altcoins that are some of the bigger ones in this ecosystem, so as Midas takes off, I've got a lot of conviction that these will too. The first one on today's list is going to be Tevis. Now if you guys don't know what Tevis is, which I'm sure that you guys don't, Tevis is basically GMX of Midas. So this is one of the older altcoins that's been around, been built on Midas for quite a while, taking place all the way when Midas was taking off in the beginning of the last cycle. Now when we're talking about what this thing is doing currently, this thing looks very, very bullish. And that's why one of the things I've been doing inside of this current cycle has been buying hard forks of GMX, because I've already been bullish on GMX. You guys already know I've been talking a lot about it. But hard forks of GMX are performing really, really good on other chains. So I think that that's something that we should all watch for as well. Now with Tevis, we went through this entire bear market. Gnarly, gnarly bear market. A lot of these Midas ecosystem tokens had some of the crazier bear markets. That's why I think that the upside potential is also so much greater. Now, we went through the completion of our bear market, and then most recently, we made our first impulse. We saw 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. And we just finished our ABC correction back down. And that ABC correction took us right back down to more or less just the prior consolidation of support to truly cement that our support was in, right? This is a support and resistance flip, and this was the first level of support that we really had inside of our bear market. So the fact that we retested this as support and now we're getting continuation from that point tells me that this is our first impulse in the new cycle, and most likely this thing's going to start making up a lot of lost ground from that bear market sell-off. Now, as it stands, we've already broken out of descending resistance, so this thing's bullish. This thing's already confirmed everything that I would have wanted to see. We already got that 618 retest, already flipped support, already finished the ABC. Now we're getting our impulses. This one's going to be taking off in a big way. We've got good volume in here, especially when we're comparing it to the bottom formation that we've been in. This is good volume. We have very clear Elliott waves. I think that this one, at a minimum, is probably going to run, I mean, it's going to run up to at least this high over here at about 76, but I think that this thing could easily run upwards of about $1.20, which would be clear up here, give or take a little bit. That would be about a 3x, and you know, these things can really go up a lot higher. I don't know how crazy Midas is going to get, but assuming that Midas is able to get all the way up here to about $100 to $175, I don't see why these things can't get all the way up here as well. And some of these are going to give much bigger returns than what Midas would, and that's why I say that, you know, paying attention to these now is really where we're going to be able to capture that profit, because this is a new ecosystem given a full bull run of upside potential, and that ecosystem prospering and doing really well. These things are going to do, you know, insane numbers, like huge numbers. So that's why it's important to have a sight on what narratives are going to be popular, what ones are going to be, what ones we can be early to, because the bull run just began. This is literally the first impulse off of the lows. So it's something we need to watch out for, and that's Tevis. Next up on the list today is going to be Maya. Now, Maya and Hermes, these are two altcoins that are pretty much tied together in the same ecosystem, and then they're both inside of Midas. So the charts look actually really similar. Now, this is one, every single one of these altcoins that I'm talking about today, we've already posted signals for in my Discord. We're already in profit on. If you guys want to be able to know what altcoins I'm going to be trading, what prices I'm going to be getting in at, then you guys need to follow my Discord server. Links are in the description to actually sign up. It's a lifetime membership, so if you guys want to be able to trade, follow all those trades that I'm taking, this is the way to be able to do it. But, you know, even though some of these are up a little bit from where my group actually got into it, I still think they're significantly more undervalued, because up to this point, all we've really ever seen are just the first impulses. This is a wave 1, an ABC back down, and then this is a wave 1 of 3. So we just started wave 3 of 3. When we're looking at these things, comparing them to how far they fell, this is just the very bottom of a formation, right? Given a full 3-year bull run, like what we're expecting to see given a 4-year cycle, these things are going to be up a lot more from here. So if they were once valued up here, I don't see why they can't hit those levels at the same time we have an entire bull run that has been given. So if we do see any pullbacks, I would be watching. This one's taken off a lot more than some of the other ones, so it's not the greatest time to be buying by any means. But it is one that I would be watching for, because the fact that it's already breaking out and leading should be a sign that this is going to be one of those that ends up performing well over the full bull run, because we really only have one impulse, like I stated. This entire move here was a wave 1, and now we're working on wave 3. And so inside of wave 3, we finished wave 1 of 3. We're working on wave 3 of 3, and then we still have wave 5 of 3. So chances are we're going to run all the way up here to about $65. And that's still a decent ways before we see any sort of correction, because then even when we crack, that's probably still just going to be a wave 4, and then we're still going to have another final wave 5 after that. So, you know, if we're looking sometime this year at $130, I really wouldn't be the least bit surprised. And that's going to be across the board on a lot of these altcoins. They're going to have big runs up, and they're going to make up a lot of this lost ground from that bear market sell-off. When we're looking at Hermes, this is one that looks pretty much the same as Maya. If we actually take this, just go like this, I think that you guys will be able to see it a little bit easier as well. But both of these actually look really, really similar. It's almost the same consolidation, right? The only difference is this one started to take off, whereas the other one's kind of been lagging. So I do believe that this one's going to take off too, but in the short term, it's just not really done as well. We've seen this leg up for Maya, and we've seen this leg up for Hermes. So not sure why, not sure exactly what the deal is, but it doesn't really change anything. Both of these setups are in the same situation. Both of them have only finished a wave 1 impulse. This is a wave 1, wave 1, 2, and now we're working on wave 3. All of these have only finished a wave 1 of 3. So wave 3 of 3 is coming next, And it's hard to say how big the wave 3 is going to get because this one's sitting at $3.4 million in total market cap. It's really undervalued. If this thing gets a lot of hype, there's really no way of knowing how high it's going to go. And so for me, these are all long-term holds. These are cryptos I decided to buy and sit on given a full bull run because I like the Midas ecosystem. Midas was one that I planned to buy and hold as well. So there's no point in me really worrying so much about that shorter time frame because I bought all of these with the inclination that Midas was going to take off, and when Midas takes off, the entire ecosystem is going to explode. And so if we see, a Midas season, like what we saw with DeFi summer, like what we saw with NFTs, like what we saw with Binance Smart Chain, Uniswap season, Sushi Swap, all of these, we saw all these different sort of narratives take off in the last cycle. And if you were early to them and you were able to capitalize on some of that profit, they provided a lot of gains. And so I think that this could be one of those narratives to watch out for as well. And these are two cryptos directly tied to each other. And then really the last one on today's list is going to be Hummus, which Hummus is, probably one of my favorites. I like all of these a lot, but I like the way that the setup looks for Hummus because of the fact we've only ever finished a one wave, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves up, followed by an A, B, C correction back down. Probably bounced off the 618, I would imagine. Yeah, in between the 786 and the 618. And now we're starting that next leg up, in my opinion. It's funny because that 618, 786 retest came right onto contact with this level over here, which was really the only, inside of every new bull market, we always have to cement a higher high. That's what proves the bull market's in, right? It's the new bull trend. We have to have a higher high and maintain a higher high above prior resistance levels. So this was a prior support level, became resistance on this sell-off. So for us to flip it as support was a massive support and resistance flip. If we go to like a weekly time frame, it'll, you'll be able to see it a little bit more easy. And with that volume, it shows that most likely we're going to see continuation. This is literally the first leg up in a brand new market cycle, never done anything before. And that's why I think that a lot of these early early ecosystems are going to be providing some of those bigger gains. Because these ecosystems, and I've said it since the beginning of my channel, cryptos I like to invest in are going to be cryptos that have entire ecosystems built under them. Because as the ecosystem blossoms, the crypto blossoms as a whole. And so it's a self-sustaining system that benefits itself. And that's why I always think that it's important that we find these. Because in the last cycle, I made a bunch of my money, probably most of my money, buying layer ones, buying cryptos where other crypto ecosystems could be built under them. This next cycle that we're in right now, I've spent a lot of my money buying layer twos, and they have their own ecosystems built under them. And thus far, that has paid off in a big way. And so I wanted to give you guys this video as a way to more or less give you guys an update on an ecosystem that I think is going to take off. Some altcoins built under it that are already taking off. Me and my group are already in profit off of them. If you guys want to be able to follow those trades, like I stated, you can always join my Discord server. You can always follow what we're going to be doing in there. I'm going to be posting an update inside of my portfolio, giving you guys an idea of what cryptos I plan to hold long term. So if you guys want to be able to get an updated version of my portfolio, see everything that I'm doing inside of this cycle, what I plan to hold. I've been building my long-term portfolio over the last few months, really since the bottom of the bear market and late last year. I've been accumulating, really looking to hold for the long term, and so I'm already to that point where I'm getting ready to just sit on what I've got. And so if you guys want to be able to see what that is, follow those same picks. Links are in the description to go ahead and sign up on my website. And with that being said, thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate the love and support from each and every one of you. I wanted to give you guys these altcoins as a way to more or less just give back some of this information that I've been learning, some of this research I've been doing, give you guys some altcoins that you guys can also look into. Maybe you guys found something, maybe you're holding some of these. I'd like to hear it. Let me hear your thoughts on the Midas. Let me hear your thoughts on the Midas ecosystem. I'd love to hear what you guys have been investing in if you have been, or if you're not invested yet, do you plan to do so here soon? Thank you all so much for the support, and with that being said, I will catch you in the next video. As always, peace out.